Tonight, in a stinging rebuke of a close American ally, President Biden halting a weapons shipment of 3,500 bombs to Israel, just as Israeli troops are targeting Hamas in Rafah.
They go into Rafah. They haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Biden administration pausing weapon shipments to Israel over the offensive in Rafah. Now, this area was off limits. The Biden administration said, hey, don't go into Rafah, because if you do, there's going to be problems. IDF says, look, man, we got terrorists over there. We got to do our own thing. We're going to go into Rafah. And as a result, Biden said, okay, well, not Biden, but the Biden administration, they said, we're not going to send you guys any more of the weapons. Now, a lot of these weapons, these big bombs, have been dropped on civilians in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip, and that is causing a humanitarian crisis. So the Biden admin said no more. Now, there's a lot I could say here. Number one, I'm in favor of ending all weapon shipments to everybody, although that's not going to happen. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. I don't think we should be involved. Look, what's the main line that they all say in the government, or at least on the right? Israel has the right to defend herself. Yes, Israel has the right to defend herself. However, that does not mean that the U.S. is obligated to aid in that effort. And I would say that about any country. I don't care what country it is. Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan. At a certain point, we got to ask ourselves, why are we the world's police? Why are we tasked with having to give weapons to everybody? And why are we picking winners and losers? We'll talk about that in a minute, because although they announced they are stopping the weapon shipment to Rafah, we have resumed giving weapons to other people that are right nearby. So it's like, okay, we're kind of punishing them by not giving them weapons anymore, and then giving the same weapons to their enemies in the same region. How about we just stay out of it? That'd be the best thing for me. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and roll the news clip. If you want to see the clip, y'all know where it is in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Tonight, in a stinging rebuke of a close American ally, President Biden halting a weapons shipment of 3,500 bombs to Israel, just as Israeli troops are targeting Hamas in Rafah.
They go into Rafah. They haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah.
Now, he said they didn't go into Rafah yet, but they have gone into Rafah, because a lot of these news clips you'll see, they'll say if, maybe they're going to go, if they go. Now, they've gone into Rafah. They're there right now. Now, whether they're going to, announce that officially, I don't really know. But I have articles we'll get to in a minute. They are there carrying out operations. Let's keep on going.
Fearing Israeli forces could drop 2,000-pound bombs on Rafah, as it did targeting a suspected Hamas terrorist in the Jabalia refugee camp last fall, killing civilians.
We have concerns about what that would mean for the civilian population there. When you look at the way
bombing a refugee camp is crazy. I don't care who you think, a refugee camp, that's nuts.
Israel has conducted its operations in the past and what the impact on the civilian population has been.
But the move angering many Republicans.
I think it's a hugely irresponsible decision. There should never be any question about America's commitment, United States commitment to Israel.
An Israeli official telling NBC News there is deep frustration over the U.S. decision. And tonight, also a rift over humanitarian aid, with the Rafah border crossing now occupied by Israeli tanks, aid not getting through. The State Department calling that unacceptable. It comes despite Secretary of State Blinken's repeated urgings about aid to Gaza, as he told me in Israel last week.
And it's imperative that they get the food that they need, the water they need.
And tonight, new reporting. CIA Director William Burns is back at ceasefire talks in Cairo after meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. U.S. officials telling NBC News Israel wants Rafah to be excluded from any ceasefire. An Israeli official denies it. Still, the State Department said today an agreement that could halt the fighting and bring home the hostages is within reach.
Now, look, they're never going to stop fighting in that part of the world. They've been fighting over there since dawn of man. It's never going to stop. Now, what we can decide as a sovereign nation that's not over there is if we're going to get involved or not. I don't think we should be involved with any nation's conflict. I don't care. You know, people want to talk about the Bible, all of that. It's like, okay, well, check it out, man. There's a lot of things we're doing that shouldn't be done according to the good book, but I'm not going to get into that right now, so I digress. Now, here's an article, Washington Post, Israel defiant after U.S. warns it will halt arms shipments over Rafah. And then here's a subhead. Israel is ready to, quote unquote, stand alone in the fight against its enemies. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Thursday after Biden threatened to cut off weapons. Talk about what have you done for me lately? I mean, we've been over there giving them how many billions of dollars a year for I don't know how many years, weapons, money, military intelligence, you name it. But now you're all alone and you're by yourself. I mean, that's totally crazy. But I mean, bombing a refugee camp with 2,000-pound bombs because of one guy or two. I mean, really? Is that what we're going to do? I'm having a hard time empathizing with Benjamin Netanyahu when you hear about stories like this. Okay, let's keep on going here. This is Jerusalem Post. It says, closing in on Rafah, IDF troops delete terrorists, find tunnel shafts in the area of the Rafah crossing. On the Palestinian side, troops of the 401st Brigade deleted terrorists in close quarter combat and aircraft strikes. So this is today, May 10th, 2024. All right. We see what's happening. They're there right now in Rafah. Okay. Now, here is the key that I really wanted to get to. I want you guys to pay close attention. Look at this. This is Washington Free Beacon. Day before Biden administration announced it would withhold weapons from Israel, it issued sanctions waiver to allow arms sales to Qatar and Lebanon. Now, you guys may or may not know, these are like states, at least Lebanon. I don't know about Qatar. They might want to say that's a neutral place. But Lebanon, there are fighters in Lebanon that they say are funded by the Iranians who are eager to fight the IDF. So when you give in weapons to them, it looks like you are punishing Israel because of the whole Rafah kerfuffle. Okay, y'all want to just defy us and go to Rafah anyway? Not only would we not give you weapons, we're going to give your quote unquote enemies weapons who are right there in your region. So now you got to go deal with them. We're trying to break you away. It's like, you know, Lebanon, of course, up north, Rafah, I think, down south. So you're trying to draw them away from Rafah and make them deal with Lebanon because you arm Lebanon. And they're at a disadvantage because they don't have weapons from the U.S. Now, maybe that's me making connections that don't really exist. Maybe that's me wearing a tinfoil hat, but that's what it looks like to me. If y'all think differently, let me know in the comments. But this right here is what I call picking winners and losers. How about this as I close? How about this? I have a novel idea. How about we stay out of it and let them deal with it? I don't want anyone innocent to lose their life. I don't want to have all these wars and whatnot, all these conflicts happening in the world. I wish we could all just live in peace. Well, Rodney King said, can we all just get along? I wish we were right there at this moment in time, but we're not. And again, it's up to us as a sovereign nation to decide how many battles do we want to fight? How many battles do we want to stick our nose in or try to pick winners and losers or fund? You want to fund that side and fund that side. I think at a certain point, we need to just kind of fall back, relax, and let people handle their own business. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here with the United States halting weapon shipments to Israel over the Rafah issue? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think it's good that we are divesting from a particular place as far as money and weapons. Now, let's do that with everybody, not just Israel. How about, again, Ukraine, Taiwan, Qatar, Lebanon, all these countries? Let's get out. Let's get out of the way. Stop meddling, interfering, picking winners and losers. I don't like that kind of quote unquote diplomacy at all. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.